Edmond to southwest Oklahoma City, we're going to see another flare-up of storms. And so we're not done yet. We are not done yet with the storms. Now, the severe threat should be a bit lower much later tonight thanks to these storms, but they're still going to have the potential to rotate. So this is going to be a long night. Jones to Choctaw, Hara, Fowler, you are in your shelter moving to the east here. So Hara, 8:32, McLeod, 8:50, Fowler, 8:51, Jacktown, 9 o'clock, Meeker, 9:17, Prague, right around 10 o'clock. All of these communities right here, this is when the storm rotation will be moving right overhead. We're hoping that the tornado threat can come down, but we know what we see right now is that there is a good amount of inflow coming into the storm. And so Choctaw to Hara, you need to be in your shelter. We have Storm Command on this. Let's check in real quick down into Norman. I want to go back to Norman just real quick because we have Derek Klein on this cell. This storm is still severe warned. Let's go out to Derek right now. Derek, give us an update on what's happening right now in Norman.
Damon, we're driving down Highway 9 through Norman, actually coming up past the National Weather Service level rotation, but at the lower levels, there's not a lot of inflow going in. It's actually probably the lightest winds I've felt in over a month in Oklahoma because the winds are only about 5 miles an hour going into this storm. So that's a good thing. That's keeping the storm in check. But that mid-level rotation will give that storm the potential to produce some hail, probably just to the north of downtown Norman right now. But we're headed down Highway 9, just trying to stay out ahead of it as it moves through town. Again, a little bit of rotation, but nothing crazy. It's all mainly in the mid and upper levels of this storm right now. Back to you.
Derek, you just described this storm in such a clear way for, I think, any Oklahoman to understand right now is that these are the lightest you have felt with the winds. But I want to show you the radar right now. This is the Grand Casino Cam. We'll get to this in just a second. Let's go over to the radar down into Norman. The hail core with this cell is going to be right near the Norman Healthplex, right next to Max Westheimer Airport, as this is moving to the east, and it's still showing some rotation. Not very strong, but certainly one to watch. But we're looking at the hail core. Right now, our radar picking up on quarter-size hail. That's an improvement. Let's hope we can keep it down in the coin-size variety here for Norman. But from the airport, as you make your way down towards, down just on the north side of OU, this is storm moving in this direction. For a lot of us that are still in Norman, you were at the game earlier today, 75,000 people inside the stadium. This is why you're still hanging tight because of the storm right now. And there is a lot of electricity in this storm, and Derek is watching it, but this is a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45. Norman right now, and then we go to community of Franklin at 8:46, Pink in Pottawatomie County towards Burnett at 9:11. That is the situation with that storm. Okay, let's go back up to our tornado warning. That is going to be here in Oklahoma, Lincoln, and Pottawatomie County. McLeod, this is for you. Hara, Choctaw, you are still in your shelter. Here's your inflow coming right over Choctaw right now and down towards Jones, moving to the east. Here's Chris Lee in Rossville. The storm moving to the east, moves into Hara at 8:29, Jacktown 8:55, and then we go to Prague at 9:48, and Payton at 10:07. With this storm right here moving to the east, the same storm also going to drop a quick one inch of rain, but we'll see more storms come in here later tonight. Let's check in with Michael. Michael, the inflow is coming right over you into the storm. Michael, give us an update on what you're seeing.
I need you to check CC right now, Damon. I think we've got a tornado debris signature, Northeast 10th and Luther Road, 2 miles west of Hara and 1 mile south. There's it's small, it's not real strong couplet, but there is a couplet there, and there was a CC drop that was right in tight with it. I think it's tough because that may be associated with a rain, but we may have had a brief tornado just to the southwest of Hara just now. The couplet is still there. It's almost right on top of Hara. It basically is.
Yeah, no, we see it right here. We definitely see it right here. And so what you hear Michael mentioning will be our debris tracker. And so we can see debris up inside of a storm. And so you get these tornadoes that are real brief. And so, but here, this is the turnpike that Michael's referring to. Here's Reno. And then here's going to be Hara. Here's Hara right here. And so that debris signature, that right there, I believe, there you go, right there. That's going to be your weakness. And so where you see that blue, that right there indicates debris that is going to be up inside of the storm. Again, it's real quick, but that's what we're looking at right here. So once again, Hera, you're in your tornado shelter or the innermost room of your house, looking right into there. And there you go. I mean, that is right over Northeast 10th and Luther. Here's a turnpike. Here's a new Kickapoo Turnpike. Here's Hera. And so in that right there, Northeast 10th and what looks like Elm Street, Northeast 10th, and coming into Hera. Hera, tornado shelter now. Innermost room of your house. If you do not have a tornado shelter, this is coming right in literally as we speak. And so anyone that's going to be from Hera and just southwest, this is going to be where your tornado is going to be located, just south of Northeast 23rd Elm and right on top of 10th Street, coming right on into Hera. Let's go back out to Michael. Michael, we're watching this couplet real closely. Michael, give us an update.
My goodness, Damon! This is like the 4th of July out here. Look at my stream right now. Look at the lightning. I mean, it is just absolutely continuous. It's almost like daytime because the amount of lightning in this storm. It is incredibly active right now. Right there in the circulation feature. Please take your tornado precautions in Hera. That circulation, it's still spinning. And I'm telling you, I see some really strong velocities also, Damon. It is possible that we might have something else spin up just a little bit north and west of there also. That is going to be up closer to, give me just a second, that's going to be Luther Road and Northeast 10th also. So Northeast 50th. There's another strong velocity. It's about, I'll tell you what, on radar, if you look at it, it's about 3 miles northwest of Hera. There's another area in there, but both, man, there is a hook echo right on top of Hera. I hate to see that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's why we're telling Hera right now, you're still in your shelter. And so once again, here's what we're watching for Hera, and then this is the other area that's northeast of Choctaw, right along the Kickapoo Turnpike here. So this area of rotation, and then Hera, once again, you are still in your shelter right now. This storm has 2 areas of rotation with it, moving to the east. Here's Chris Lee out near Fowler and Jacktown, but Hera, you are still in your shelter, and then just northeast of Choctaw. Choctaw, you're okay. Choctaw, you're all right now. This storm is now northeast of you, but we're just now west of the Kickapoo Turnpike and just right along Northeast 50th. Northeast 50th, that's going to be rain wrapped. That is going to be rain wrapped. Right now it is 8:27. There's your rotation. Here's your rotation. Hera, once again, you're still in your shelter. Same thing if you're going to be 1-2 miles northwest of Hera as well. Both of these moving to the east at about 30 miles per hour. Still watching this right now. Here's your area of spin. This is your rotation. Sirens are sounding. This is why, Hera, for this area right over town, literally right on top of town right now, you can see where we've highlighted your rotation just 1 mile east of the Kickapoo Turnpike, and right now just on the south side of Hera. This is moving to the east, and so McLeod, 834, Fowler, 843, Meeker, 906, Prague at 940 with this storm moving to the east. So we're watching this area spin, and then this one that Michael was referring to just moments ago. Control room, if we have our Grand Casino camera, this can give us a bit of a different view here. We're looking up to the northwest. Jonathan, you have this aiming into the northwestern sky out of Dale and McLeod. Jonathan, what are you seeing?
Yeah, Dan, I've been watching on the side for the last couple minutes, and the lightning is kind of impacting the exposure, the lens of the camera, but embedded in there just like about a minute ago, looked like there was some sort of like cone. It didn't look like it condensated all the way down to the ground, but it was right over Hera, and that's where that circulation couplet is. And so both of those kind of verifying that this would be potential tornado. I mean, the circulation's not that real classic hook echo-like look, but what I see on velocity, you got to fine tune, look at all the little details, get right down to ground level, and that's what I'm seeing. The area of circulation is going to be 1 mile east of Hera, Northeast 23rd and Pot Road. That's where the circulation is going to be there, Damon. And like Michael said, there's another little area of circulation about 3 miles northwest of Hera. That second little area, we'll have to watch for that. But the main area now northeast, east of Hera, Pot Road, Northeast 23rd. And so kind of using all our tools here. Chris Lee's also inbound. He is in Jacktown. So he's going to be 1, 2, 8 miles to the east, and so what he's going to be looking for is power flashes. And so we have the storm kind of surrounded, camera, radar, Chris Lee, but that's the latest on that. And that area of circulation, again, 2 areas.
Yeah.
But they're both about the same. That's what I don't like.
Yeah, and these are both very well could be. I mean, now that we're in the evening here, I'm still very concerned about not only this one right over here, but yeah, this one right here. We have 2 tornadoes that are in 2 areas of rotation that are occurring simultaneously right now. One right on just west of the Kickapoo Turnpike. This has Rossville in sight. This one that's east of Hera has Fowler and close to Jacktown. No matter what, just looking downstream, both Rossville and Jacktown, both of these are moving in your direction. And so you're in your shelter, absolutely. Who's no longer in a tornado warning? Tinker, Del City, OKC, you're good. Everything's looking fine for now. We'll see another wave of storms later tonight, but we're doing okay. This is the only tornado warning in the state right now. Only one tornado warning in the entire state, and this is it. We have Michael on this. We have Chris on this as well, watching 2 areas of spin right over the Kickapoo Turnpike, just northeast of Choctaw, northwest of Hera. And now our next area of rotation is going to be just east of Hera. Both of these moving to the east. McLeod, 834. Fowler, 842. Jacktown, 850. Meeker, 904. Prague, 938. Boley at 1010. All these communities right here, that's when this area of rotation is going to be right overhead. So these storms are moving pretty quickly to the east for Oklahoma tornado warning standards, about 30 miles per hour. That's pretty fast. You're going to get a decent amount of rain for this too, on top of it. That's good. What's not good, all the other stuff coming with it, which will be the threat for severe weather. Our crews are out on the left-hand side of your television screen, from Shane Helton to Derek Klein, to Storm Command, to Chris Lee, Sky 5 as well, and watching these storms moving to the east. Let's check back in with Michael. Michael on this tornado warning, watching these 2 areas of spin closely near Hera. Michael, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Okay, Damon, right now what we're seeing is that area of circulation is still there. It's not as strong as what it was. It is a few miles east of Hera now, just barely. So I would say, yeah, it's definitely weaker. There is another area, though, just northwest of McLeod, and it is not as intense, but this whole area seems to be moving into an area where it's going to be maybe more favorable for either what we call the QLCS or quick spin up tornadoes. It just seems like the environment is getting a little bit more conducive for that over here in eastern parts of Oklahoma County. So listen, we're gonna keep tracking it all the way into Lincoln County. We've got you guys covered in Minker, over to the east of Hera, all the way up to Sparks, even over toward Prague. We have got this covered. Chris Lee's here. I'm here. We're gonna see if it happens. You're seeing this just incredible lightning show. I mean, I've seen a lot of lightning, Damon. This is pretty wild.
Yeah, absolutely. We see it there as well. So a quick update as well. We're watching this. Also, tornado warning down in Lawton right now as well, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Let's go down into Norman. Let's get a check-in with Derek Klein. I want to check in with him real quick, and down in Cleveland County. Still seeing the storm right over Norman as you make way to Sooner Road and Franklin. This is a severe thunderstorm warning and brand new warning as well, just issued. This is for Cleveland County here for quarter-size hail. So the hail sizes have come down. Let's check in with Derek. Derek, still seeing at least a bit of rotation here on the east side of Norman. Give us an update with what you're seeing, Derek.
Yeah, Damon. So we're still out ahead of this storm. We're just trying to navigate ourselves around Lake Thunderbird right now as we get in front of it. In my 360 shot, though, you can see these streaks, these dark clouds and the bright flashes right there. That is the mid-level inflow being pulled into that storm. So that's that inflow that we're talking about. As long as the storm has that, it'll continue to try to intensify. But we're out ahead of it. The lowering is there, but again, just that low levels is not really there right now. But we're going to continue to watch this as it moves to the east. It's going to cross probably right over the top of the north side of Lake Thunderbird as it heads up and starts to get a little bit closer towards I-40 here pretty soon. So we'll continue to watch it as it moves past Norman. Back to you, Damon.
Okay, I know you will there, Derek, right now watching this storm. And so Norman, this storm warned on for quarters. Right now, that's going to be just a few miles east of Sooner Road. Right here, again, quarter-size hail. very well could be a slightly larger hailstone embedded with a lot of rain, headed right over Franklin, the town of Franklin here. You can see our radar is picking up some pretty large hail up aloft. A bit of that is melting coming down. Let's go back up to this tornado warning. That's going to be up for Fowler and McLeod. McLeod, the warning, the sirens are going off. The storm coming in right here. And so McLeod right now, rotation with this cell, and we can see it here very close to McLeod. As a matter of fact, it's where you see the green just getting wrapped right up into this. And so we're north of I-40, Grand Casino, but we have Michael and Chris both on this storm, moving to the east. So Clifton 902, Meeker 902, Johnson 908, and Prague at 930 as well. So area of spin coming right over McLeod right now, and so rotation is certainly going to be there. And again, we'll check in with Chris Lee and Storm Command here just a bit. The storm is certainly pushing out some pretty strong winds as well. You can see them surging out just now north and east of Newalla. So McLeod, you're going to get some pretty strong winds coming in as well. If you're watching in Shawnee, this will likely stay just north of you in Shawnee, right and just north of I-40. Still, though, northern Pottawatomie County, watching this one real closely. Okay, we'll go back to this in just a second. I want to go down the road because we do have a brand new tornado warning. Let's go ahead and kind of give you the big view here. Guthrie North, you're good for storms now. And really, most of the storms for the rest of the night are going to be concentrated from OKC down to the southwest. This is a tornado warning. We're still west of Lawton, down by Mount Scott. So we still have a ways to go with this storm. But if you are watching in southern Grady County, we're keeping a close eye on this one for you because here's your area of rotation that is going to be on the southwest side of Lawton here. See right here, Jonathan highlighting this. And so this is our fourth tornado warning of the day. And this is going to be down in towards Comanche County. So we're going to watch this one. But right now, this is south of Lawton, moving up to the northeast. And so for Rush Springs, as you make your way in the northern Stevens County, we're going to keep a real mindful eye on this area spin because eventually downstream, the storm can hold together. This is going to be looking at Lexington and Purcell a little bit later. So right now, though, everyone here from Marlow to Rush Springs to Bray right before 10 o'clock. Okay, let's go back up the road, back up into the metro, give an update on what's happening. We have a lot of storms, a lot of warnings too, by the way. From Ninnekah to Alex, this storm right here has, here's your hail core just southeast of Ninnekah. That's headed up to the northeast towards Dibble, Kreiner, Washington. This is quarter-size hail with this cell and winds of 60 miles per hour. But still, without anything obstructing it down to the southeast, still has the ability to rotate a bit as it continues to move to the east. Right now, it's a severe thunderstorm warning, but we're going to watch it from Ninnekah to Agawam as you make your way up towards Cole and eventually towards Kreiner and Washington. So severe thunderstorm warning. Alex, 850, Dibble, 912, Payne at 920, Cole, Washington, and Goldsby between 9:20 and 9:30 with that storm moving up to the northeast. Okay, let's go back in and get a radar update on our tornado warning that's going to be north of McLeod. And so now we're in McLeod, Pottawatomie County. Let's check in with Chris Lee. Chris, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, I am in the Jacktown area. That's the area 62 and Highway 177. We're moving east, looking backwards towards and a little bit south towards the McLeod area and north of McLeod. I can see an inflow area there. Nothing lower appears, but almost constant lightning, as you can tell. But the it's very difficult even with the infrared on the camera because you get a lot of lightning from the front and you get lightning from the back, and it's hard to tell exactly what you're looking at. But that is an inflow area that we're watching as it moves to the east, and we'll be watching as we head towards the Meeker area.
Okay, Chris Lee, we're going to watch this one again. Chris Lee's keeping a close eye on this one. You can see with his night vision there, that technology is so important to have when the sun goes down and we're still tracking these storms. There's a lot of electricity in these storms as well. So we're still keeping a close eye on this storm for Jacktown to Fowler, McLeod as well, northern Pottawatomie, southern Lincoln County. This storm is going to likely hug right along the county line here and keep moving to the east here. So and eventually head towards Prague and Arlington. So right now, tornado warning remains in place for Lincoln and Pottawatomie County. Jacktown at 851, Clifton 9:05, Prague 9:37, and then all the way down to Welty at 10:35 with this storm. And so if you're just now tuning in, what do you need to know about for the rest of the night? We have the severe threat right now. We're going to see a flare-up of more storms later tonight, and that's going to ramp up the flood potential as well. We do have a flood watch, by the way, in place pretty much from the metro down to the south. But more storms are coming in right now from Bridge Creek into Moore, so we're not done with the heavy rain. And this warning that does extend into Stella, up towards the Grand Casino west of Shawnee. Derek Klein is on this one. This is warned on right now for quarter-size hail and winds of 60. So storms are surging to the east. And then if you have not had any rain yet, we understand South, Slaughterville, Lexington, Purcell, Wynnewood, Sulphur, Davis, your storm threat is now beginning to develop here. And you can see all these storms that are now just west of you. So we're going to see these storms come in as well a little bit later this evening, and then another flare-up of storms after midnight. It's going to be a very noisy night, absolutely. Still, though, watching these storms surging to the east, Oklahoma County, we're good for a while. So OKC, you're doing all right. Still watching this storm, though, making its way, and so have Michael Armstrong on this. Let's check in with Michael. And this tornado warning that is currently going to be near McLeod. Michael, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Okay, Damon, very ragged lowerings. There's a number of them. At times, it looks like a little bit, a semblance of a funnel, and then it kind of goes away. So it kind of matches up with radar, how it'll kind of tighten up a little bit, and it'll start to weaken. And we're actually getting ready to drop down. We're getting so many storms, Damon. We're going to start handing these off. So Chris Lee is going to handle this storm that's just on the north side of Dale and McLeod. I know he's kind of moving over east toward Meeker, where he can get a nice view of the whole storm as it comes at him. I'm going to be transitioning down toward the storm that's down near Lake Thunderbird. It has produced some really strong winds here recently, measured wind gusts to 66 miles per hour, Damon, in the Norman area with this storm. So it does have some really intense wind coming toward Pink and Shawnee. And Derek's going to be moving back down to that other storm that's moving up toward Purcell, another supercell that's down near Ellick, just east of Agawam as well. So three supercells right now, and Chris is going to have the one with the tornado warning along with Shane, and we're dropping south, so I just wanted to give you an update. But, man, that sure does look low there on my 360 cam. It looks very suspect at times.
It absolutely does, and certainly this time of the year, you can get tornadoes that quickly spin up even when they don't look that pretty. And so there are certain days when you have those big, large wedge tornadoes. We hate those. We hate all tornado days, really. But this time of the year, you can get these quick spin-ups. And so that's what we're watching. And again, we've seen at least this storm right here do that. It did it over Tinker Air Force Base, and it did it out towards Tuttle and Minco even earlier this evening. So, and it's still doing it, even moving right along and just north of I-40, Grand Casino, Shawnee Mall, north of Shawnee. So this threat still continues with this storm. So Storm Command, he's watching it closely. Chris Lee, he's in Meeker right now. He's watching this closely as well. For those of us from Ada-Lot towards Belmont, towards Prague, right now we do not have any warnings yet, but be ready for this storm to get a new warning issued downstream. Brand new update to pass along. Tornado warning no longer in effect for Oklahoma County. That is good. So the tornado warning is no longer in effect for Oklahoma County. The threat, though, still continues from McLeod down towards Fowler. Here's your inflow coming into the storm. The hail out of these storms have not been that large either. Hail sizes have come down quite a bit as well. Still looking at some quarters from Fowler to McLeod and this polygon that stretches from Rossville as you make your way down towards McLeod. But right now, quarter-size hail here. Quarter-size hail with this storm as well from Belmar to Stella. A lot of the data that we've been watching, as these storms moved east of I-35, they were going to encounter some less instability, some lower instabilities. And so that's going to help at least hopefully keep this risk for tornadoes a bit down. It's not zero, but at least the risk is going to be down a bit. Here's your area of rotation now just on the northeast side of Dale, McLeod, Grand Casino, moving to the northeast. This current track with that area of spin, and we're talking about the very southern fringe of this tornado warning, would be in Johnson at 903, Belmont 913, Prague at 924, and Payton at 938 with that cell right there. Moving to the east. Shawnee, this will likely stay just north of you by just a few miles, but still right over I-40 and just northeast of the Grand Casino. That's the latest with this storm. Let's go down the road, check on the other tornado warning that we have, because that will likely spread up to the northeast and eventually come into southern Grady County. So right now we're still in Comanche County, but this current storm, if you're in Rush Springs, here's your area of rotation right here, just right over Lawton, like literally right over Lawton. So that's moving up to the northeast. And so at this current track, and let me just get an update real quick on the storm speed with these. Most of these storms have been moving at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. This one, there you go, 35 miles per hour. It's also warned on for golf ball size hail. This area, southern parts of the state, has a bit more instability, but this moving at 35 miles per hour, and there's your hail core right over Lawton. Lawton right about now. We go into Marlow at 9:29, Rush Springs 9:34, Bray at 9:42. We're going to watch this one for southern Grady County as this continues to move up to the northeast. We'll likely clip a portion of Stevens County, but at this current track, it's probably going to have a bit more of a Grady County track with it, especially down to the south. And it's going to roll back up into an area that we already have a thunderstorm happening right now where that's warned on. Hopefully that can help kind of munch away at some of this instability and weaken this storm. But certainly the risk is still going to be there with this cell moving up to the northeast. So we're working so many storms right now. And with all of these storms embedded within them are these areas of rotation. Western Oklahoma, I know you would love to get the rain. Not tonight. So again, this is all going to be in I-44 and south and southeast. Really, I-44 will be kind of the border where we get a lot of rain and hardly any rain. So putting a track with this cell near Ninnekah and just near Alec here, here's your inflow into the cell. Still warned on for quarter-size hail, moving to the east at 30 to 35 miles per hour from Grady to McLean County here. So Dibble 908. Washington 923, Lexington 936, Slaughterville 939, and then starting to get back into the Lake Thunderbird area right around 10 o'clock with this storm. These fast-moving storms, they can certainly move in pretty quickly. Okay, let's go back up to our tornado warning, get an update on what this is looking like right here. As a matter of fact, Chris Lee in Meeker, watching this area just west of him. Let's go out to Chris Lee. The storm is still spinning here, and brand new. Looks like the tornado warning, which, by the way, the tornado warning looks like it's been replaced temporarily with a severe thunderstorm warning. We saw this happen earlier where we had the warning, the tornado warning. It dropped, and then it was quickly reissued. So we're not putting our guard down yet because you can still see this storm is still rotating quite a bit. Let's check in with Chris Lee, currently in Meeker. Chris, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, sirens going off in Meeker. A lot of police officers rushing around, checking things out, making sure everything's as they can see anything. We're looking at another area of rotation down towards 177 and I-40. That's going to be moving up to the northeast, but well to the south of Meeker. That seems to be a little more the concern at this point. Have not seen anything that looked particularly lowered or, looking in the lighting, we're able to see the cloud base fairly well and have not seen anything that we're just overly concerned about. Haven't seen any power flashes coming from the ground. But we're going to be dropping south a little bit from Meeker and checking this new area of rotation out and let you know how that looks. Damon?
Hey, Chris, we're going to keep a close contact with you right now. This tornado warning, once again, still finding these areas of rotation. And green is usually weak rotation, moderate rotations when you see the brown picking up here. And we are seeing that. Jonathan here highlighting that on the radar with our rotation tracker. Jonathan, you get into these type of storm modes where rotation pretty much kind of is all up and down this line. So we got to look at each scan closely, but I see you're highlighting a couple areas east of Jacktown and pretty close to Shawnee Mall.
It gets messy, Damon. This is where I have to earn my keep. The big supercells with the big hook and the big inflow notch and the gate-to-gate shear. I mean, I think most Oklahomans can be like, that's where the mesocyclone is and that's where the tornado is. But this, these hybrid storms, they're real dirty. They have a lot of precip with them. It's really hard to pick out the circulation. May not, for you at home, you may not see it, but for me, and especially Michael. Michael's one of the best. I don't know how he does. He's out, in the middle of the storm, lightning, hail. He's in storm command. They're navigating, and he'll pick up on them too. And that's what we'll look at. And so, like this area right here, and this is exactly what. So I'm looking at the raw data. Now I'm going to use our shear product. Oh, look at that. It's in the exact same spot. And so you go from the dark green, the light green, then you pop to the red. That's the area of circulation that could indicate potential rotation, could indicate potential tornado. Now, some of the verbiage from the National Weather Service in this storm, like we've been saying, this is a very strong storm. Has a lot of lightning, potential for a big swath, maybe some damaging winds, embedded tornado circulations, okay? Now, I think the worst of the winds are going to be north of I-40. So Shawnee, guess what? Michael's right there. He has you covered. But I think the worst of the winds, as of right now, will be north of Shawnee. I'll go back to the velocity, and I'll switch over to shear. Yep, that is the absolute worst right now, and it's moving east-northeast at about 25, 30 miles an hour. On that storm track, and what we'll do here, I'll let you see what that looks like. So let me loop the storm. Watch that area right through there. Push off to the east. It's not bowing out, and I don't see new areas of circulation on the south side, not quite yet. Now, that being said, storms can do certain things where, you have one area of circulation, a new one could form. So we always have to watch this, what we call tail and Charlie down here. That would be the southern side of the storm. That's where new areas of circulation can form. So the main one, Chris is looking at it. Chris Lee is, and then the secondary circulation that could form, new mesocyclone could form, would be west of Shawnee. But I don't see anything right there that looks real significant, but that's why Michael's right there, Damon.
Yeah, and having these chasers in our team, from Shane, Charlie to Michael, Chris, Derek, having their eyes on the ground really helps us out. And so an update on this cell. So the tornado warning still remains in effect for about 9 more minutes. And then it's going to transition, at least temporarily, into severe thunderstorm warning. Doesn't mean the tornado threat's over. It's just that at least things have come down. But I'm telling you, and Jonathan highlighted this area real well. This is what we're watching right here. And so 2 miles north of the Shawnee Mall, near Ada-Lot, right here. And this is right where Chris Lee is. As a matter of fact, may want to get Chris Lee on the phone here, because this is about to roll right over Chris. And so let's go out to Chris Lee, if we have him available, because he's right in front of this. Chris, looking just west of you by no more than probably a couple hundred feet. Our radar is picking up quite the couplet here. Chris Lee, give us an update on what you're seeing just west of you.
Yeah, just as you came to us, we got a very strong wind gust from out of the west with a very heavy rain burst just for a second. I think that's what that rotation, the edge of that rotation was. We're moving east with it and getting a lot of very strong winds now. Winds probably 50, 60 mile an hour range.
So Chris, just so you know, and I want to show everyone at home what our radar is indicating. Chris, I very well think you may have just gotten hit by a weak tornado. Very brief, but I want to go back. Jonathan, let's go back to our rotation tracker. Here's Chris right here, very close to the town of Ada-Lot. And that is where our rotation tracker is, right on top of Chris. When you're looking at tornadoes like this, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Absolutely, and that's exactly, Chris is right on top of this thing. And so, Chris, and you just heard him just mention, he's like, I just got hit by a quick burst of winds. And so that very well was likely at least a quick spin-up tornado. May not have been very strong, but wow. So Chris Lee, be safe out there. This thing's right on top of you, and probably now just a few feet to your east, literally, as we see you driving to the east. Actually, Chris, let me go back out to you real quick. Chris, I know you're in a rural part here of the county, but have you seen any power flashes either behind you or in front of you?
Yeah, Damon, I wasn't able to hear you. When we first saw that there at Ada-Lot, there was wind from one direction and then very quickly from the other direction. So yes, I do believe that was probably the circulation that passed over. What we saw was probably 60 mile an hour winds. It was it was very gusty, and as you know, when it goes from one side to the other side really quickly, it's very jarring. But it wasn't strong enough to pick anything up that I could see, and we just certainly didn't see.
Yeah. So, and Chris, by the way, so Chris kind of in and out of an area with spotty cell coverage. He was mentioning probably felt like winds around 60 miles per hour with that, which feels like lately we've been getting that on a sunny day. But here's the circulation right here moving to the east, and it's pretty much just going, it's right behind Chris. So Shawnee, this is just north of you, but we're still watching this storm and what is likely going to be some pretty strong winds and a quick spin-up tornado threat. And we're still picking up this couplet right here, now just about a mile east of the town of Ada, which is right on top of where Chris is. And so moving to the east here, this is going to be just north of Johnson and headed towards Belmont and Prague. And we are going to be now on the Lincoln County side of this, just right along the river. Just right along the river here. So the tornado warning will expire here in about 4 minutes, but the severe thunderstorm warning is going to cover all of us downstream. So we're going to watch out for at least these quick spin-up tornado threats here. But my goodness, Jonathan, what do you have?
Southwest, we got a tornado warning coming in for Comanche, Grady, and Stevens now. So that storm down near Lawton.
Okay.
I think they've issued a new tornado warning, which is now Rush Springs, Marlow, Bray. Watch out. Here we go. That tail end storm.
Yeah, you're right. And so Comanche, Stevens, and Grady County here. And by the way, Lawton just had a 77 mile per hour wind gust at the airport, right over the observation, or right over the weather station there. So here's your inflow into this. And so for Lindsay, you're not yet in the tornado warning. However, Lindsay, we're watching this one for you because this is on path to come up in towards eventually Lindsay and down towards Bradley. So, but as Jonathan was mentioning, quite the hook there, just right over the town of Lawton, coming now on the east side of Lawton here. And look at that right there. That is not what you want to see. And what I hate about this is that there's just no storms down to the south to obstruct this. So you have these low-level winds that are just feeding right into the storm. And so anytime that you have a clear inflow into a storm, that's going to ramp up your tornado potential. That's exactly what's happening right here east of Lawton. So this tornado warning right now, this is for Comanche, northern Stevens, southern Grady County. This is also going to be important for McLean County, and even as you make your way downstream. So that's why we're watching it for Lindsay to eventually Purcell, Lexington, Washington, and just south of Norman. So we're not done with the tornado threat. Again, this tornado watch remains in effect until midnight. Right now it is almost 9 o'clock. We still have another 3 hours to go, but we are going to see a couple waves of storms go up here. And so here's our next wave of storms that's now developing down to the southwest. And eventually this is just going to turn into a big blob of rain, but we're not there yet. We still have a couple hours to go before all of this will turn into more of a rain threat and less of a tornado threat. So we're going to watch this one from Rush Springs up towards going into northern Stevens County. Let's go back up to the metro. There are some thunderstorms right now coming into Moore and Norman. Just give you an update on what these cells are doing right here. And so what's in Moore right now, that is not severe. Goldsby, you're in a severe thunderstorm warning. But the storms that are right now from the airport to Moore, nice rain out of this. Severe thunderstorm warning for this, which will come up just south of the Riverwing Casino. This is still dropping quarter-size hail and still has a bit of a hook on it. So has some inflow. It's not tornado warned, but still watching it. Here's another warning for Stella to Pink. This is for quarter-size hail. Looks like it's probably pushing out some winds right here, so this might still have some inflow into it. You can see it right here, kind of feeding into it. And then we saw this tornado warning at least for another minute or so. That's just kind of rolling right down where Chris Lee is. But putting a track with this into Bethel Acres for this warning right here for quarter-size hail and winds of 60. Bethel Acres at 9:13, Gaddy 9:16, Shawnee at 9:24. The Shawnee Mall there on the north side of the highway. 2 minutes later, Johnson the Neal at 9:36, 9:37. Seminole State College at 9:47, and then Prague at 9:55. Let's check back in with Chris Lee. Chris Lee watching this one closely. These storms, right, still has a bit of rotation with it. just east of Ada. Chris, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah. Summer available.
Okay.
Looking back, and you can see a lowering. I think hopefully you can see it on my 360 camera in night vision mode. It's not as defined as it was, but it's definitely a lower area in the clouds, and that seems to correlate with the area that we're seeing on radar of rotation. So we're trying to kind of stick with that and follow it as it goes, kind of in a east northeasterly direction.
All right, Chris, we're watching. We're gonna keep in close contact with you there, Chris Lee, out near Ada. By the way, if you're just now tuning in, we are now simulcasting on Me TV as well. So you can pick us up both on KOCO 5 and Me TV simulcasting. And right now, still watching this area of spin that is going to be southwest of Prague. Prague, we're keeping a close eye on this one for you. Prague, we know you're in a severe thunderstorm warning right now. That goes until 9:45, but we're still watching for these quick spin-up tornadoes that can spin up along the leading edge of this as these storms move to the east. There's your rotation north of Johnson, and even spreading up here east of Meeker. Pretty much, as Jonathan mentioned earlier, it's kind of a hybrid here where this entire line here is just going to have spin-ups right along the leading edge as it's moving to the east. But right now, the strongest winds are right here, right on the county line here with Pottawatomie and Lincoln County, and that's moving towards Prague. We have Chris Lee on that as well right now. So Shane Helton there north of Rossville. We have Chris Lee here west of Prague. Storm Command down by Shawnee. Derek Klein down to the south, but still watching these cells. Let's check in with Michael Armstrong, currently in Shawnee. They're in the leading edge with this warning. Michael, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, right now we are on the south side of Shawnee watching this lowered area that's moving. And I'll tell you what, the storm is starting to look a little bit more organized. Now, not so much from the velocity standpoint, from the Doppler velocities, but from the intensity side, from what your people are normally used to seeing, the intensities or the reflectivity, the notches is starting to look a little bit more, again, suspect. So we're going to be watching this area super close as it comes in toward Bethel Acres. It's just to the northwest of Pink, and that's going to be moving over towards Shawnee. It looks very ominous on radar, but as of right now, I don't see anything that is tornadic about it, but it's certainly something we have our eyes peeled on. You're still seeing a lot of lightning. That doesn't seem like there's quite as much lightning with this particular cell as what there was before with the other storm up north. So that's hampering our view a little bit. But this is still a very impressive looking storm that's coming in toward Bethel Acres, just to the northwest of Pink, and there you saw it. There you saw it really kind of light up the whole base right underneath there in the lightning view. So when the lightning struck, we can see it a lot better now. So it's moving closer to us now as it's coming in right over here on the south side of Shawnee. We're right on 177. Again, we're just south of 270, the business 270 on the southwest side of Shawnee, right here along the river.
Yeah, Michael, we can see you there, and we are watching this storm, and obviously these are severe thunderstorm warnings that are inside of a tornado watch. So always got to watch every cell real closely, every scan real closely. That is why we are here, and we're not going anywhere until the threat is over. But right now, at this moment, it is 9:03, and so these are all severe thunderstorm warnings east of Oklahoma City, and we have one tornado warning that is currently south. We'll get to that in just a moment, but putting a track with this storm moving to the east here, and you can still see the inflow coming into it. Bethel Acres, about 10 minutes from now. Bethel High School there, 9:15. Shawnee High School, and Shawnee at 9:25. Ada-Lot, 9:33. Down to Belmont, 9:47. Little and Prague, 9:53. to 9:57, and so we're going to watch this one real closely. You can see on the bottom of your television screen we have a tornado warning for Grady County, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. By the way, that's first storm coming out of Lawton, but still watch. Man, some real strong winds out of this. This is really picking up some pretty strong winds You can see they're pretty broad as well. I mean, if you're in Belmont or Prague, I'm getting away from west-facing windows because those are going to be some winds that very well could be pushing close to 70 miles per hour with that storm moving up to the east here. So with this storm, good amount of rain, by the way, 2 inches of rain in OKC. But putting a track to the east here at about 30 miles per hour goes into Belmont at 9:08, Prague at 9:18, Boley here at 9:44. And then all the way down to Welty at 10 o'clock. Strong winds. So we can find a few pockets of moderate rotation out of this, but there are some strong winds. And this could very well push up close to 70 miles per hour for Prague to Arlington. So the threat is not over yet with these. And eventually these are going to lift up to the northeast. But all that bright pink that you see, those are some really strong winds. Some real strong winds. So again, we're just about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little over 5 miles west of Prague. But Prague, these are going to move in here. Right now, it's about 9:05. We're looking at just a few minutes here, about 10 minutes. And these are coming in. So just a heads up, you're about to get hit with some pretty strong winds. Let's check in with Chris Lee. Chris, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, we are coming up right on the county line, Potawatomi-Lincoln County line, to the south and west of Prague. Watching an area, it's still back to our west slightly, a lowered area. Doesn't seem to be that close to the ground yet. Go ahead, right, go the other way. But hang on, Walter, you're going the wrong way. We got to go the other way. But we're kind of watching it, and we can see it fairly well most of the time when we're not blocked by trees. And we have a pretty good idea. Like I said, it's not getting that close to the ground, but it is an area that we're watching and corresponds with that area on radar.
Okay. Chris, we'll come back out to you in just a second. And so, excuse me, but this is what we're watching right here, this area of spin that's going to be now just west of Meeker, in between Meeker and Prague. And so right along the highway between Meeker and Prague. And so right along County Road 3480, 3470, where Jonathan has highlighted. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, but as we've seen for a couple of years now, you get these quick spin-up tornadoes. They do not last long, but they do last long enough. And when you see something like this, that red and that green are coming up against each other, that's your rotation, that's your couplet. Meeker, you're okay. This is east of you. Prague, we're looking just west-northwest. But Prague, you also have some strong winds that are now about to blow into town any moment now. And so this is warned on for 70-mile-an-hour winds. The amount of damage that you can get with straight-line 70-mile-an-hour winds is considerable. So that's enough to knock out power. So Prague, these strong winds, this pocket of strong winds is about to blow right into town here any minute now. Again, we're just about 3 miles west of town, and this is moving to the east here. So Prague, heads up. We have Chris Lee here watching it for you. He's down right in towards the community of Belmont, which can be about 2 miles southwest of Prague. But just a heads up, strong winds here, circulation here. Both are moving towards the town of Prague, and so still watching this one. We're gonna come back to this in just a second. I do want to go down to our tornado warning that we currently have. That's going to be northeast of Lawton. And so, and does come into southern Grady County here. So right now, right over the town of Bethel. And so, and that is going to be east of Lawton here. So we're looking in the Stevens and Comanche County right now, and parts of southern, Grady County, down by Rush Springs. But this storm moving up to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. And this is the only tornado warning we have right now in the state. Central High, 9:15, Marlow, 9:28. We go to Aaron Springs at 10:07 with this tornado warning. And even looking outside of this polygon from Wayne to Paola to Pauls Valley to Wynnewood up to Lexington and Purcell, we're watching this one for you. I know you have not had any storms yet today, but your atmosphere is untouched down here from Payne to Pauls Valley. There's a decent amount of instability in place to keep the risk for severe weather alive and well with that particular cell right there. Remember, we have this tornado watch in place for all of central Oklahoma until midnight. really north of Oklahoma City, all the way to Ponca City, we're not seeing any more storms. Those are now lifted up to northeast. So if you're north of I-40, you really only had one shot of storms today, and we already had those go up. If you're south of I-40, we're looking at 2 waves of storms. What we have on the radar right now, and then what's also showing signs of now developing, that is going to be down by Hobart and west of Lawton, and you see these warnings now that are going to be north of Frederick. And so it's going to be, we're here for a while. We are here for the long haul until these storms are pretty much no longer severe. We're not going anywhere because this is Oklahoma in the springtime, and so every radar scan, we got to watch. What's happening in Moore right now, you're good. That's a nice thunderstorm in Moore. What we're seeing right now west of Prague, this is not good. These are still some strong winds, 70 miles per hour. Here's Chris Lee, Shane Helton right now north of Shawnee, and still seeing an inflow into the storm that Jonathan is highlighting. And Jonathan, when you're highlighting this really well, because we're really working 2 hazards here, the straight line winds in that rotation couplet there on the north side. What are you seeing?
Well, this storm is not a classic supercell, I'll tell you that much. You know, a lot of times when we talk about tornado warnings, you see the big hook echo coming around. This was kind of a hybrid. There is circulation. I've highlighted in the blue circle. That's the area of circulation, and the blue arrow is the inflow pulling up and around. Now, just in the time that I drew that arrow and we had an update to radar, you can see it's moved a little bit, so I'll clear that out again. Again, there's not necessarily dry air, but you know, that's the inflow notch. That is humid air pumping into the storm and clearing out. So that's the inflow notch. And a lot of times in the northern side of that kind of little mini Boeing structure, you can get an area of circulation. So that's, again, we're using rainfall rates or reflectivity. The bigger the raindrops, the bigger the hail, the brighter the colors, right? The heavier the rain. Now here's the velocity part of it. And so you have that inflow coming in, and then this right here where you have a maximum velocity area and a minimum, so you don't necessarily need gate to gate, but you have a high velocity stream with nothing, and that's like a paddle in a river, and it's spinning, and that is 1, 2, 3 miles northwest of Chris Lee. Prague, where is it from you? It's about 5 miles to your northwest. Arlington, it's about 5 miles to your southwest. So Sparks, Meeker, Clifton, it's off to your east. It's moving away from you. But eventually it'll move to the northeast and move towards Erin, Payton, Welty. But pretty soon it'll be out of the KOCO viewing area there, Damon. But we're watching real closely. That's area circulation. Technically doesn't have a tornado warning with it, but these hybrid storms with this type of shear or change of wind direction with height. That's what we're seeing. Southeast surface winds, and as you go up to the jet stream comes back to the southwest. It's changing in wind direction with height. You can get these areas of rotation. You can get these couplets. And again, they're not classic looking. They're kind of dirty, kind of ugly, but I've highlighted the area of circulation, Damon.
Yeah, and you've done a really good job with that because you're right. I mean, reading a radar is very difficult. I mean, there's all these colors all over the place, but being able to find these little features amongst all of this really is quite something. So good job there, Jonathan. Once again, severe thunderstorm warning until 9:45, and still watching these winds coming in. The hail has really come down with this, which is good. Hail sizes appear to now be below quarter, so now we're in the pennies and pea size, which is good. But the winds, I think the winds are really going to probably be one of the bigger threats that we're going to see as we go into the rest of the evening. Yes, we're still going to have some hail threats, but it does not appear that at least with this cluster of storms that we're going to see the half dollars and golf ball and ping pong ball size hailstones like we had earlier this evening when these storms were fresh. And so there you go. The hail sizes have come down here. Otherwise, we're still finding a few pockets. This is quarter size hail that our radar is picking up, and probably going to find that right over the Grand Casino down towards Bethel Acres. As a matter of fact, let's check back in with Michael. Michael, watching these storms coming in just west of you. Michael, how they look from your vantage point?
Well, I'm starting to get more concerned about Shawnee. I want people in Shawnee to just be ready. You don't have to take your precautions yet, but I want you to be ready. I'm tilting up through the radar scans, and I'm seeing a notch that's developing just south of Dale. If you want to have Jonathan take the radar and tilt it up just a couple of degree scans, it's starting to get a little bit more of a look to it, to where it may start trying to wrap up closer down to the surface. It hasn't yet. It's still up above the ground, but this is straight north of Bethel Acres. I'm going to try to give you an exact location on what I'm seeing. I'm seeing inbounds along Pecan Grove Road, and the north-south road is Bethel Road. Okay, and that's basically right where it's at. So Pecan Grove and Bethel Road, and then that's going to track right along where the Shawnee Mall is. I know Shane's right up there. If you can hear me, go to I-40 right now, and then plan on going east over toward Johnson. We're coming in through kind of the downtown area. Kyle, we need to. Oh man, David, go ahead and. I got to do some navigation. You take it over.
Okay, yeah. So there's always a lot going on here. By the way, the Memorial Marathon has been delayed tomorrow. This just came in just moments ago. You can read the screen here. The Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon has delayed the full marathon and the relay 1 hour to 7:30. So just keep that in mind. Marathon and relay runners will take off with the half marathon runners. So there have been some changes because of the weather and what's projected to come even as we go into the overnight. So, and hopefully it does not delay anymore, but that's what we have right now, is that we have at least a delay in the marathon. So what we're referring to, and what you heard Michael referring to as well just moments ago, was this area of inflow. Now there are at least some winds. You can see some winds coming out right here, but where this notch is, these are winds getting pulled up into the storm, and this is where we're at least looking for a bit of rotation picking up here from the Grand Casino. Here's Dale down to Bethel. Here's Bethel Acres and Bethel High School, and then right over Clark's Heights here, very close to Gaddy. And so here's Storm Command. Here's Shane Helton right here. And so remember, Shane was on the tornado warning that was up in Payne County earlier. Now he is down here in Pottawatomie County watching these storms. Chris Lee's up to the northeast, Shane Helton, and then here's Storm Command. So Pottawatomie County, look, we are watching this closely for you right now, and we're going to continue. We're going to, real quick though, because we got to kind of go back and forth here. But we're going to watch this storm. Let's go back down to our tornado warning and just look at all these cells popping up. And what we are now watching is the beginning of our next wave of storms that's now developing, not only from the tornado warning here, but also the storms out towards Cache. So OKC South, we are not done with the storms yet. This is going to be a long night. So our tornado warning here for Bethel and coming out of Comanche County, going into northwestern Stevens County and southern Grady County. Here is your rotation right here near Bethel at this current track, still headed up towards Rush Springs. And as you make way towards Marlow, so Marlow 935, Rush Springs 942, Alec 1005, Lindsay 1014 with this storm right here. This is the only tornado warning that we have in the state. And this storm, it produced some incredible winds down in Lawton at Fort Sill, where they had winds reported there at the base close to 80 miles per hour. Those are some winds right here. So this tornado warning remains in effect right now. Rush Springs, Acme, southern Grady County. Right now the area of rotation is still on the Stevens County and Comanche County line here. But if you are in southern Grady County, you're in your tornado shelter right now, innermost room of your house as well right now. Same thing, even if you're outside the warning, Alec, Bradley, Lindsay, Purdy, I know you're not in the tornado warning yet, but this storm is coming in your direction, and you still have a pretty unstable atmosphere in place. So I still feel like the threat is still going to be with this storm as it continues to lift up to the northeast with this cell right here that is going to be east of Comanche. Other storm, let's go up towards Kreiner. And as we make our way towards Dibble, where we have Derek Klein right now, because that storm is also severe as well. And looking at, see, actually, you know what? That warning just dropped just moments ago. So there you go. That's good to, there you go. Yeah. So actually, yeah. So, okay, that warning looks like it just dropped off. So there we go. 9:30, actually. It looks like this might, let's check in with Derek. Let's get an update from him. Looks like this warning still remains until 9:30. Derek, severe thunderstorm warning for your cell. Give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon. So we're coming north, coming from the north into Washington right now. We're some really, really intense cloud-to-ground lightning with this thunderstorm, and we haven't seen anything severe yet, but we're not in the core of the storm yet. So the core is about 3 miles to our south. So we're actually gonna drive right through the center of the core of this storm here in the next 5 minutes or so, as it approaches or goes just to the south of Washington. So we're going to continue to track. Wow, I don't know if you saw that lightning. 2 strikes right next to each other. Amazing lightning in this storm. So we're going to continue to watch this, and we'll let you know if we see anything as we continue to head south towards Washington. Back to you.
Yeah, and Derek, we saw that lightning as well. Yeah, there's a lot of electricity in the atmosphere tonight. Let's go back over to the radar. So update with this. So this is still warned on for quarter-size hail, winds of 60. Here's an update that we had that came through just seconds ago. You can see how really we've kind of trimmed the fat off of this warning. Look how large a polygon was. And now we've shrunk it down to Dibble, Kreiner, Slaughterville, Lexington. The rain's finally coming in. It's going to be heavy. Quarter-size hail with this north of Kreiner. This warning goes until 9:30 for McLean County. And eventually this too will lift up towards Etowah and going into southern Pottawatomie and Seminole County. And what I see happening now is that while the risk for severe weather continues, and our tornado threat still continues as well, especially with the supercell that's east of Lawton, is that we're beginning to see our secondary waves of storms now beginning to develop. So I would not be surprised if the watch that we have in place for central Oklahoma will be replaced again at about midnight. Now, Ponca City to Stillwater, unfortunately, you're now done with the storms for tonight. I know we would love to see more. Woodward, you had some decent rain early this morning. Northwestern Oklahoma, it was nice. Elk City, haven't had much. But western Oklahoma, we're not seeing any more rain tonight. All the storms are now going to line up from I-44 into the south. And so we see these cells now going up. Fortunately, these are what we would call just messy, severe storms, because down to the southeast, we have all these other storms. The inflow into them is going to be really messy, and so that's going to help keep the tornado risk at a minimum. Not zero, but that will help lower the tornado threat. The storms that will have a tornado risk are these that are on the front. Anything that doesn't have anything down to the southeast obstructed. So we're looking at this cell right here from Bethel up towards Marlow. That's lifting up towards Lindsay. Still going to watch this cell over Kreiner as well, because there's nothing obstructing it coming into the south. And then we're still watching these storms that are in Pottawatomie County as well, that Michael, Chris, and Shane are on. So Shawnee, watching these storms, excuse me, coming in right now. Here's your hail core from the Grand Casino to Shawnee. That is lifting up towards Ada lot. Let's check in with Shane Helton. Haven't got an update from Shane Helton now that he's made his way down in the Pottawatomie County. But Shane, you and Charlie on the storms in Payne County. Now we have you in Shawnee. Shane, give us an update on how things are.
Damon, we are traveling westbound on I-40, just coming out of Shawnee here, and all of a sudden we hit a wall of water. It was just absolutely amazing. It went from hardly nothing at all, maybe just a few little sprinkles, to all of a sudden probably about a moderate rain. You know, it was pretty amazing how hard it just all of a sudden started. Seriously, it was a wall of water. It's crazy. But we're keeping an eye on these storms that Michael was talking about just a little while ago near Dale and surrounding area there. And right now we're not seeing anything because of the heavy rain. But as soon as we can get out of this rain, and I say heavy, it's probably moderate. You know, when you're driving down I-40 and all of a sudden it seems like it's heavier than it really is. But as soon as we can get up here on a hill, we're going to stop and take a good look at the clouds and the lightning and kind of go from there. But so far, we're not even seeing any hail, so that's a good thing. Damon, back to you.
And yes, that is a good thing. We absolutely like that. So what can we expect for the rest of the night? Because I know that a lot of us, it's Saturday night. As I mentioned before, we're not done with the storms. We're going to see more storms tonight, more storms tomorrow. A lot of the data that we have coming in right now shows that we're probably going to squeeze out another 2 inches of rain from Oklahoma City down to the south. So yes, there is a delay in the OKC Memorial Marathon tomorrow by 1 hour, but very well could see additional delays. I don't think we're done yet with the delays. Rain is okay. Lightning is not okay. So that's why these delays are coming down. And I think we'll probably be getting some more information coming in over the next few hours. Bottom line, it is springtime in Oklahoma. And so whenever you have a storm system like this, it always needs to be watched closely, and that is what we're doing for you, Shawnee, right now with this storm coming in and knowing what these storms have done already, where these storms have been rotating. Whether they have a tornado or strong winds, this storm has inflow into it, and it's running right over Shawnee, right over town. So here's Shane Helton right now. Here's your hail core, a lot of lightning and a lot of heavy rain, and there's Michael on the south side of town. Real quick, by the way, tornado warning was just canceled for Grady, Stevens, and Comanche County. That means that we do not have any tornado warnings now in the state. So that is great to see. Sabrina running the radar here and highlighting that this tornado warning is no longer in place from Lawton to Marlow. We love it when that happens. This is good news, and we got to get excited for these things here. So the fact that we are now tornado warning free for the first time in about 3 hours, it feels like. No, maybe about 90 minutes. It feels longer, but we have had tornado warnings pretty consistently this evening. And so, but we still have severe thunderstorm warnings inside of a tornado watch. By the way, looking at this cell just southwest of Chickasha, bit of hail now popping up on this. I know it's not warned on, but there is some small hail that's about to come into Chickasha right now. So these are these little tiny cells that can pop up. They can be small, but they can be mighty. And so just watching this rolling up the turnpike right now, because as you heard us mention, we're now entering into our second phase of storms for the evening, where now we're going to begin to see these storms that are going to go right along I-40. And when I say that I-44 is going to be the battleground between a lot of rain and no rain, I really mean it. We could be looking at some parts of the metro tomorrow morning picking up 2 inches of rain, and then north and northwest sides, Piedmont, and as you go just north up towards Guthrie, that pick up hardly anything. This is really going to be a night where you're going to have a lot of rain and hardly any rain. And I know a lot of us are liking a lot of rain, but here we are. This storm is rotating right on top of Derek Klein. We're going to go out to Derek right now, south of Washington. Derek, you're in a severe thunderstorm warning, but your storm is showing rotation. Derek, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, we're getting a pretty strong wind. We saw the wind gust at about, I would say, 60 miles an hour here, just south of Washington by about 2 miles. And now the wind is actually turned directly from north to south, which would be into where the rotation would be with this. The hail was fairly small. We had mainly pea-sized hail, but we definitely had some 60-mile-an-hour winds from the west to east. That's now shifted from north to south as it flows into the inflow of this storm here. You can see the really heavy rain falling on us right now. Here goes more wind gusts here. Now we're getting hit again with really strong winds again. So this is definitely a severe thunderstorm with some pretty powerful winds right now here just south of Washington right now. Back to you.
Yeah, Derek, be safe out there. We see the horse trailer in front of you here, and certainly the strong winds that are coming in. This picture right here coming in from Derek Klein. Let's go back over to the radar. By the way, if you're watching us on MeTV, we're about to go back to regular programming on MeTV. So if you're watching our severe weather coverage, please turn on over or tune to KOCO 5. We're going to continue our coverage here, but MeTV will go back to programming here. So in the meantime, this is the storm that we are currently watching with Derek, and it is spinning, making its way towards Slaughterville and Lexington, I-35. Right now, the rotation is going to be near Kreiner and Washington. Moving to the east, Purcell and Lexington, about 946 to 948. And then Rosedale, 1006. Jonathan, we can go up in the Pottawatomie County here, watching this storm, this severe thunderstorm that we have right now. And if you're just now tuning in, you're watching KOCO 5 News at 10 o'clock, and we've been in weather coverage here since daylight. And we're still watching this closely for these storms as the threat still continues this evening for Shawnee and down towards Seminole. Let's check back into Derek, down by Kreiner. Derek, what do you have?
We have extremely strong wind. Look at it coming from right to left across the highway here. The winds probably hit close to 70 miles an hour there for a minute. We could not see anything. Now we're kind of getting on the backside of the storm here, but there's lots of like small debris in the road from that north to south wind. You could not see anything. The wind was extremely intense in this severe thunderstorm right now. Again, it's just south of Washington, so this is a powerful severe thunderstorm. now moving to the east. It's going to be making a run at I-35 here shortly. Back to you.
Yeah, we're watching that one there closely. So rain is good. We need the rain, but this time of the year it usually comes with all this other stuff that we don't like, but here we are. So here we are, Derek Klein. You can see there, storm moving to the east. And so from Lexington to Slaughterville, watching the storm, pushing out some gusty winds as well. Brand new warning here, just south of Noble, Slaughterville, Etowah, Lexington. Heavy rain with this. Moving to the east, so Slaughterville 950, Etowah, Burnett, Tribby, Macomb at about 10 o'clock. Jonathan, let's go out to Chickasha, by the way, because there's a little storm. Looks like the hail's getting just a bit larger now, just coming in on the west side of Chickasha. It's this little south, and again, it's small, but whenever you see black right there, that's a bit of a hail core that's picking up. So Chickasha, little tiny thunderstorms, probably only going to last for about a couple seconds or so. It's going to feel like, but this moving up the turnpike, it's going to get a bit stronger. We'll have to watch this one for up towards Amber, Newcastle, and coming into OKC. So here we are, kind of just a train of storms now coming in because we have this cell and then that cell that is west of Lawton. So all these are moving up to the northeast. So really for Oklahoma County, Grady, Cleveland, McLean County, we're going to see more storms coming in here. The threat for severe weather is going to continue. Although I feel as we go a little bit later into the evening here, we're going to transition more into a damaging wind threat more than a tornado threat. But we still have a risk. It's just that for the last couple of hours, the tornado threat's been up here and the wind threat's been down here. Now we're probably about to switch it a bit here and watch the strong wind threat really begin to take over. And still going to get these little tiny storms that are going to have some hail in them as well. So Chickasha, that's you. Also watching the cell there west of Lawton as well. Cluster of storms south of Moore down towards Kreiner, watching that. And then we also have these cells that are currently in Pottawatomie County. So Seminole County, Holdenville, I know it's been a quiet night so far, Hughes County, but these storms right here will impact you. These are going to be your storms to watch. So, and that's not going to be until probably well after midnight. With this cell that Derek is on, same thing down towards Rush Springs. It's going to take a little while. These are moving about 20 to 30 miles per hour, lifting up to the northeast. Let's check back in with Pottawatomie County here and give you an update. Let's check in with Michael and Shawnee. Michael, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, right now there is a lowered area over this storm that's kind of moving near Johnson, but there's nothing really that organized about it. There's just a lot of kind of low-hanging cloud features. I'm going to see if I can get them to light up with lightning right here. Yeah, right in there. If you can actually see, there's still, that was perfect, actually. You can see a lot of what we call SLCs, scary-looking clouds, and we're seeing quite a bit of those right now. Back to our north and west, and we are actually several miles east of Shawnee now. We're looking back toward Johnson as we're moving over here. I know Chrisley is a little bit south of Prague now, so he's probably going to have something similar as we're looking at that view. This storm is lifting up toward Prague. Could have some small hail right now. It doesn't look super large. The storm is not as organized as what it was over the south side of Norman when it came in through Lake Thunderbird and had damaging winds earlier. But nonetheless, we're still keeping an eye on all these storms as they're kind of moving over here to the east into parts of Pottawatomie and also Lincoln counties. Back to you.
Watch it. We are watching all these storms as well. So right now it's 9:30, a bit of a 9:30 update here, and all of the tornado warnings are no longer in effect. All of the severe thunderstorm warnings are 60s and quarters. So that's where we are right now at 9:30, and we're still going to be there at 10 o'clock as these storms are moving up to the northeast. There's still some gusty winds within these, but as of right now, the latest update is that these are all severe and warned on for 60s and quarters. Does not mean that we still cannot get these brief spin ups and at least kind of a bit of some little bit of a flare up with the rotation from time to time, and we're going to see that all night long. And so that's going to be a threat not only for Pottawatomie, Seminole, and Hughes County, but even for Grady, McLean, Cleveland, Oklahoma County. We're going to see some more storms coming in here. And then same thing as you go down to the south and as you make your way into areas that have not really had much in the form of rainfall. So this storm right now that Derek is on from Kreiner to Washington is moving towards Slaughterville it's moving fast enough that the flood threat does not appear to be anything too substantial. And I think, there's certainly some rotation there near Washington. Gonna have to watch that real closely right now. The flood watch that we have in place, by the way, is going to be for storms that are going to flare up again tomorrow. This is not our flood threat. Yes, there's certainly some heavy rain, but we're going to see more rain tonight and then a big flare up of storms tomorrow. That will be very low, what we call low wind severe. It's just going to be a wet day, but for those of us that are down from Lawton, pretty much south of I-44, and you're saying, where's all this rain that y'all were mentioning? It's coming. It's coming. So, but this storm right here is still spinning a bit, has quarter-size hail from Washington to Slaughterville, and so it's not tornado warned. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for McLean County until 10:15. So right now it's 9:30, so this warning is going to last for a while, about another 45 minutes. Etowah's headed in your direction. It's going to stay south of Norman. Norman, we're still going to have some rain. And by the way, if you're in Norman earlier at the game and you're hanging out, going northbound, you're good now. You're good now. So traffic has improved, and that was certainly some messy weather. If you did hit the road and tried to make it up into northern sides of the metro and you drove through that tornado warning, I know that was not fun at all. But here we are, Washington to Slaughterville. This storm lifting up to the northeast, still quarter-size hail, winds at 60. It's a narrow strip of hail as well from Washington to Slaughterville, just north of Lexington. Lexington, the heaviest of the rain is likely going to stay just north of you. Don't worry, you'll get some rain as well. Wayne, the Rosedale, your rain's coming in as well because we're seeing storms right now just west of you that are going to be down as you make way towards down towards the Lawton area. So as we pan on down here, here's your next wave of storms that we have from Rush Springs as you make way east of Lawton. So these storms right here will head towards Payne, Lindsay, Maysville, and Wayne. Heavy rain coming out of this, absolutely. Now, at one point, this storm was tornado warned. It's no longer tornado warned, which is good, but we're still gonna watch it from Marlow to Rush Springs up to Bradley. So Bailey at 10:03, Cox City at 10:10, Bradley at 10:20, Purdy at 10:24, Aaron Springs 10:25, and Lindsay at 10:26 with this storm that is currently moving up to the northeast. Again, it's a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. Jonathan, let's go ahead and just zoom on out. Excuse me. Zoom on out here. Kind of show you the big picture. Ponca City, Enid, Stillwater, Guthrie. Your chance for storms is quite low for tonight. What we're watching now, see these cells all the way down towards Frederick and south of Lawton. These are all going to move up to the northeast, and so these will impact the metro and down towards I-44. So this is our second round of storms that's coming up here, and we'll have to watch to see if a few more cells can go up near Carnegie and Binger. I know you all would love to have some rainfall there, but right now we no longer have any more tornado warnings in effect. These are all severe thunderstorm warnings that are lifting up to the northeast. We have Chris, Shane, Storm Command, Pottawatomie County down Seminole, Derek Klein watching these cells that are moving up from southwestern Oklahoma, and so the risk still continues as we go into the next few hours. Jonathan, you and I were looking at some of the modeling data that we have going into the next couple of hours. We're watching these storms that are down in southwestern Oklahoma. It doesn't look like another tornado threat developing, but it certainly looks like some noisy storms are still expected in the next couple hours to develop.
Well, Damon, one thing that we have to look at, what we're showing you on radar right now is basically obviously where the storms are, but out in western Oklahoma, so these storms fired off the dry line. The dry line is a front. It separates very humid Gulf moisture coming in and then dry desert air coming in from the west, and that front will cause the storms to form. That dry line has receded or has retreated back into western Oklahoma. So when they retreat, when that dry line retreats, it can trigger new thunderstorms, and that's one thing that we're going to have to watch. There's a couple ways to do it. Obviously, seeing them on radar, using short-term, high-resolution forecast models, also satellite imagery. And there are some building cumulus clouds, which I'm not showing you on radar right now, but there are some clouds trying to build. So we'll have to see. So obviously we have this line of ongoing storms. There may be a boundary there. Storms are training over the same area. We could easily have some very heavy rain in the next, 2 to 3 hours from Lawton up towards Norman, Purcell, maybe far south is Pauls Valley, but we'll have to watch for a new area of storms to go up. I'm not sure if the models, are, if these are the storms down near Frederick, is that it? Or are we still ways out? Because it may not be until, I hate to say this, long night, but it may not be till midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock that we start seeing storms down here come into OKC. So we're not done. This is kind of wave number 1. Is this wave number 2 down here? Or does wave number 2 fire up off the dry line in southwestern Oklahoma? So there's kind of 2 zones we're watching. Ongoing right now near Lawton and what could form back to the west and southwestern Oklahoma. We'll see.
We will, yeah. And looking at some of the updated data that we have, there's a narrow strip of storms that very well could develop in northern Oklahoma. May not drop anything more than just a few 1/100ths of an inch, but it looks like at least a low-end chance for rain will still continue for Ponca City and Perry after midnight tonight. We'll watch that one for you because we know, look, we all would love to get the rain right now. And really, we're kind of getting into a window where if we don't start dropping a ton of rain, and really this system that we're going to see tonight and tomorrow is probably going to drop about 4 weeks worth of rainfall all in one day. These systems are nice to see, but you can't have it rain and then just turn the spigot off for like 3 or 4 weeks and we dry the soil out. So we need to keep these storms coming in, and we've kind of gone through such a dry March and a dry early start to April that we're in the hole here. So these storms will help, but let's hope we can keep the rain coming in here. So in the meantime, what I see happening for OKC down to Moore is that very well could see an additional 2 inches of rain on top of what's already fallen. Out towards Luther, you've already had over 2 inches of rain tonight. So your storm total could exceed 4 inches of rain. That would be something. But hey, you know what? Every storm drops a bit of rain, and so we'll treat this one day at a time. And so here we are watching this cell from Rush Springs up to Slaughterville. That's moving up to the northeast. These storms are severe for Prague. Let's go into Prague if we can. Check in on how this is looking right now, because there's at least some heavier bands of rain west of you. The strongest of the winds are now in Payton, east of Prague. So our radar is still picking up on some small pea-sized hail. You can see here with the warning that extends down to Shawnee. But right now from Shawnee up to Belmont, some small hail with this. Let's check in with Chris Lee. Chris, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, we're south of Prague. We were up there. We dropped down I-40. We were up there just a little bit ago. Enough rain that there was quite a bit of water running down the streets. When we were there, when that first wave of rain came through, the gust front, 40, 50 mile an hour winds blowing through town. So fairly strong. That was just a little bit ago, and now they've got another pretty good part of the storm. It looks like it's going to track right over town also. Nothing rotating and nothing of that nature, but certainly a lot of rain. And this is transitioning a bit more, as you were saying earlier, to where there's some wind, more wind involved than the hail. I haven't seen any hail in a while, but some of these storms have some very strong winds, David.
They absolutely do. And yeah, you're right. We're probably looking at this becoming more of a wind threat really for the remainder of the evening and some heavy rainfall. And when I mention heavy rain, because I know it's been a while since we've had some heavy rain, yes, the creeks are low, so they can handle the runoff. But I still think for those of us that are headed to the Memorial Marathon tomorrow, it's already been delayed 1 hour. And as long as there's not lightning, the marathon will go on. Lightning is what's going to just ruin things a bit here. So let's hope that we can stabilize the atmosphere enough to where you remove as much instability as you can. So it's just rain, but we're running in the rain tomorrow, I feel like. So from Johnson to Belmont to Prague, heavy rain continues to move in and some gusty winds. Storm command is down by a little. Now, Seminole State College and Seminole down towards Holdenville, you haven't had much rain yet. It's coming. We're watching these storms that are going to be by Slaughterville that are going to eventually track to the east here and come into Seminole, Bowlegs, Wolf, Sasakwa, down to Holdenville. I know it's been dry. You're looking into the northern and the western sky. You see all the flashes of lightning. But right now, these storms are going to take a little while before they move into Seminole and down to Holdenville. But you'll get your rain, and you'll get quite a bit of it, especially tomorrow as the storm system continues to swing through here. Let's check in with Michael Armstrong right now. Michael, we see you just north of Seminole. Haven't had any rain there yet, but these storms that are south are headed in that direction. Give us an update on what you're seeing, Michael.
Yeah, Damon, at this point we are we're seeing a lot of lightning still to our north, back up near Prague. The storms don't look nearly as intense as they were. I know they're still severe, so they could have some hail and some gusty winds. That'd be the main threat with those. We're looking at this next storm that's back down over the Purcell area, and so we're going to be transitioning back a little bit further to the south, and it still looks like, and I heard you guys talking about this too, on whether we're going to get additional storms that are going to form again and move over the same area. So listen, the flooding threat, I still think over Oklahoma City and some of those areas that got really pounded by heavy rain from these initial wave of storms, we still could see some flooding develop with some of these storms tonight. So hopefully not. I know there's going to be a lot of people out and about trying to get home from prom and other things like that have been going on this evening. So we hope that doesn't get too serious. But it's kind of wild to be even talking about even having a flood risk as dry as it's been here lately.